Hi, welcome. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you taking a few moments here as I describe what we do at Metabolic Nation, particularly with the program we have called Metabolic 911. We live in a very reactive society. We don't really do much until there's a problem. A healthcare system is set up to wait until a disease takes hold, as opposed to having a more proactive approach. We end up becoming a reactive society. We're paying the price. So one of those things that we're keeping an eye on as a society is metabolic syndrome. About 7 out of 8 people have metabolic syndrome, and that has to do with factors that involve your waist circumference, your blood pressure. When it comes to blood, it involves your ability to metabolize sugar or glucose. And the next thing we look at is your ability to have higher HDLs, which is indicative of heart healthy cholesterol, versus your triglycerides, which are a way for your body to package energy and send it out to your body. High triglycerides usually are a result of having high carbohydrate diet. So if you have one, two, or more of those 5 factors that I just mentioned, it essentially means you have what is known as metabolic syndrome. Another word for metabolic syndrome is prediabetes, or we want to minimize that occurrence because it goes to your diabetes and things of that nature. So we want to go from metabolic syndrome to metabolic health. And what we do at the Metabolic Nation is we use the Empower method, and it's mindset, metrics, measurements, methodology, momentum, and mastery, as you can see over here. First thing we need to do is work on mindset. We need to see what the actual issue is. How can we make it better? What do we need to have to prepare ourselves to have the type of approach that's going to help us be effective as we look at this? Many programs out there, they'll tell you what to do, but they really don't tell you what you're doing and why you're doing what you're doing. And it's important to have that knowledge base, because if you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, most likely you'll stop doing it when people tell you to stop. So we want something to be an ongoing method, an ongoing way, a lifestyle, a way of being that is going to be with you long after the program is over. Speaking of which, the program generally runs for 3 months, 12 weeks, and it consists of 3 parts: consulting, it consists of a course, and it consists of coaching. The consulting is a one-on-one situation where we speak, we listen to what your issues are, I do personally, and we find out if the program is right for you, if you're right for the program, and so on and so forth. And then generally we have 3 other consulting calls at the end of each one of those 3 months. The e-course features each one of these, but blown out into lessons. So when we talk about mindset, I kind of touched upon it here. It's, for example, many people believe that to have something, to do something, and to be something. For example, you have to have money to do vacations and be happy or be adventurous. But we revisit that and we look at be, do, have, where you work on your identity first. You start doing your habits, and then you'll have the momentum and what you're looking for. So it's kind of a backwards approach, but maybe it's the right way to do things. And we find that helps things stick longer when you take this approach. A lot of other things we talk about when it comes to mindset, but I just wanted to give you a touch upon there. When it comes to metrics, we want to make sure we're looking at the right metrics. A lot of people look at weight, but perhaps that's not the right metric for you. Perhaps looking at your triglyceride level is a better metric. Perhaps looking at how many steps you take to get you into motion is the right metric. There are different types of metrics. We're going to explore all those. And when we look at the metrics, we want to have the measurements. What is the right range for you, for your particular situation, for your personal health goals, for your health challenges that you're having? Then we employ a methodology that's going to help you get to where you want to go. We end up making it something that's very rewarding. It kind of gamifies it, where it becomes something you're looking forward to doing as opposed to dreading it. So having the methodology in place is what's going to set apart what we do here versus other programs. Once you have this in place, you start to see some really exciting things, namely momentum. When you have momentum and your clothes start feeling better and you have more clarity and you're getting more recognition when it comes to the doctor telling you the report looks a lot better and so on and so forth. That momentum is a great place to be, but it's also pretty dangerous because you might think that the work is done. You might think I got to where I want to go. But if we don't stick with the right mindset, if we don't keep watching those metrics, and if we don't utilize that methodology to get us where we wanted to go, things go backwards. And that's what happens a lot with yo-yo dieting. People are told what to do. They'll do a certain diet, right? They'll do a certain diet. They'll do keto. They'll do vegan. They'll do Mediterranean, and so on further. But if you don't have the mindset in place, you'll lose the momentum and things will go back to where you were before. We work on that with Metabolic 911, where we treat the urgency before it's an emergency. And then when you have this, you have mastery, you have balance, you have the tools, you have everything you need to keep things in place of what you've learned. Because once you've learned something, you can't unlearn it. Once you have balance, you don't not have balance anymore. If you haven't rode a bike in 10 years, 15 years, you can jump on a bicycle and go for a bike ride because that balance is there from when you learned it. The same situation here. You learn the balance, and then you utilize the balance. The only way to not have this in place is if you purposely or inadvertently go off. And when you do, because you have the mindset and the metrics and the methodology and the measurements to get you back, you can go ahead and have balance, and therefore you've mastered the situation. Go from mystery to mastery with Metabolic Nation. The program is called Metabolic 911. We're there to support you along your journey. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you for taking the time to view this, and I look forward to seeing you with your personal transformation when it comes to your metabolic health. Go from mystery to mastery with Metabolic Nation. Look forward to hearing from you.